Hello everyone and welcome to another movie review, and today we're looking at a movie that is probably one of the most depressing movies I've seen in a while, and that's saying something because I watched The Iron Claw like a couple of weeks ago. Today we're looking at Pig, starring Nicolas Cage, and it came out in 2021. This movie's about a former chef who isolates himself from the real world by living in a forest with his little pet pig, and the pig also helps him track down truffles and stuff to sell and make money and have a grand old time. However, two thieves bust in his little cabin and take his pig. Nick Cage, along with his business partner, I guess, Alex Wolff, have to go and track down where exactly his pig is and see if they can get her back. The storyline for this movie is pretty simple overall. Man has pig, pig gets taken, tries to find pig, let's see what he can do. The main takeaway from this movie is just how much of a bummer it is. Nicolas Cage has at least a couple monologues where he's either tearing into people or talking about life, and everyone's gonna be buried at the bottom of the ocean, and what's the point in life and all that nonsense. And I did not think this movie was gonna go down this dark and grim path. I thought it was gonna be a kick-ass action sort of movie with Nicolas Cage beating the crap out of everybody, trying to get his little precious pig back, but no, that doesn't happen at all. And it's sort of a downer throughout pretty much all of it. There's a couple funny bits in there, but it was not the movie I thought it was going to be. But overall, I'd still say it was decent enough to where I wouldn't hate watching it again, but I don't think I would really want to. Before giving a rundown of the movie, I want to say that Nicolas Cage does a great job in this movie. His long hair, his gray beard, he has this very woodsy look to him because he's kind of isolated in this forest and, you know, living in a little shack, so he looks the part. He does great in his monologues and when he's shouting and angry. He does a great job. Also, I want to shine a little bit of light on Alex Wolff's character, Amir. Didn't really vibe with the character at first. I thought he was okay, because I really thought this was going to be a solo Nick Cage kicking ass movie. But then you throw Amir in here, Alex Wolff, I was like, fine, whatever. But as the movie goes on and we see a little bit more of his backstory, and he even drops in a funny line or two, his character really grew on me. So at the start I was like, you know, it's whatever. But by the end I was like, yeah, you know what, I liked him, he was cool. So shout out to Alex Wolff, he did great as well. Again, one quick thing before I start, I just checked on Letterboxd, and apparently a lot of people adore this movie. And I'm surprised it has as much love as it does. I will admit, yeah, it's a good movie, and Nick Cage does a really good job in it. But I did not think people were gonna love this thing so much, so congrats, Pig. You won over the hearts of many, I guess. Also, I just looked at Rotten Tomatoes. This thing has a 97%. Holy damn, I am glad that you all liked this movie, but holy hell, I really did not expect the amount of love this thing was getting, so again, congratulations, Pig! This movie is broken down into 3 chapters named after specific dishes, which I think is pretty neat. Chapter 1 is called Rustic Mushroom Tart. I guess that's the thing that Nick Cage is cooking up in his little cabin. Nick Cage plays a character named Robin Feld who lives in the woods with his little pig. Robin's pig helps him find truffles in the woods, which he gives to a guy named Amir, and they have a little, you know, working relationship. He gives truffles to Amir, and Amir sells the truffles to various restaurants. Later in the day, he plays a tape that says "For Robin" on it. A woman's voice can be heard, but he quickly takes the tape out before we learn any information about her.
Get out, get out. I'm trying to surprise you.
That night, a car pulls up to Robin's cabin, and Robin's pig is trying to check out what's going on. Robin tries to calm his pig down, telling her it's just probably coyotes, but then out of nowhere, 2 dudes bang through the door, beat Robin up, and take his beloved little pig. It's now morning time, and Robin finally gets up, and he is in pretty rough shape. It's time to get down to business because he gets his old truck working, and or maybe not. Since driving isn't an option, he walks down the road to a restaurant and calls Amir. Amir picks him up, and they go to their truffle selling place, I guess, and talk to a woman named Mac. Mac is all sorts of pissed because if there's one thing she can't stand, it's pig theft.
Ricky, you take over. Anyone fucks with Wiki, I'll break your fingers, motherfuckers!
Mac, Amir, and Robin question a couple who they suspect are the ones that took the pig, but they say they don't have their pig anymore and some city guy took the pig. It's now time for plan B, and Robin wants to go down to the city to talk to someone who might know what's going on. Amir is hesitant to take Robin into the city because that's where he does all of his business. But he sort of has to help because that pig helps him make money.
You like this car? You like that shirt? Shut up.
Robin and Amir go into the city, and Robin talks to a guy named Edgar, but he says since he disappeared, his name means nothing. At this point, Amir is starting to get a little pissed off because Robin isn't filling him in on anything.
You're some fucking homeless asshole who probably fucks his pig. So sick of your shit. How about try and give me some fucking respect?
I don't fuck my pig.
After a brief hissy fit from Amir, Robin tells him that they're going to the bottom of an old hotel that got torn down. Apparently that guy Edgar runs an underground fight pit for chefs, which I think is honestly a funny concept and could actually be a movie on its own. Robin strolls in, puts his name on the board, and is ready to fight. At this point, I was fully convinced Nick Cage was going to kick some ass here, but he just gets punched repeatedly over and over and over again. He gets up looking way worse than when he came in, and he tells Edgar he's looking for his pig. He's handed a piece of paper, and Amir takes Robin back to his apartment. And here's where we get part 2, Mom's French toast and deconstructed scallops. The piece of paper that Robin was handed says Fenway's on it. They plan on getting a reservation for lunch to find out more information. Amir made breakfast for him and Robin, and he tells him a story about his parents going to his restaurant. Amir's parents would frequently have date nights, but they would always come home yelling and being mad at one another, you know, the usual angry parent stuff. But one date night, they went to a restaurant and had a very great meal, and it's the happiest he had seen his mom in a very long time. And it just so happens that Robin was the one that prepared that meal for them.
How was your spot?
Robin asks what happened to his mom, and Amir tells him that she killed herself. And if that wasn't depressing enough, Robin goes on to have a very, very moody monologue.
When a shockwave hits, most of the city will flatten. It's all gonna be at the bottom of the ocean.
Now, at this point in the movie is where my brain was like, alright, this clearly isn't going to be a Nick Cage kicking ass type of movie, and I'm okay with that, but I'm also a little bummed out. While it would have been cool to see a more action-packed pig revenge movie, it's clear that they're going for a more character-driven, emotional type of story, and you know what, that's fine. I also thought the movie was going kind of slow, which that's kind of the vibe throughout the whole movie. Things are happening, but they're very drawn out, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's mainly my fault because my expectations were totally something different, so that's not really the movie's thing. That's a me thing. Amir tries to get reservations from a guy that has connections on the inside of Fenway, but he's not really budging. However, name-dropping Robin Feld seems to have done the trick.
My friend is Robin Feld.
While Amir is out working his city boy magic, Robin is looking at a house. He starts to walk towards the back of the house, which I don't think is a very good idea, especially looking the way you look right now, Robin. He finds a little boy and sits down next to him, which again, I don't think, you know, is a very good idea if some stranger were to see you. Surprisingly enough though, nothing crazy happens. No mom or parent comes running out trying to shoo him away. He just has a wholesome little conversation with the kid because that's the house that he actually used to live in. Amir and Robin are seated at Fenway's, and we get a very pretentious like description of the entree they're receiving.
Frozen seawater roe blend on a bed of foraged huckleberry foam, all bathed in the
kind of like something out of the Menu, which came out a year after, but still that's like the main food movie I think of, because the Menu freaking kicks ass. Anyways, moving on, after Robin has a bite of the food, he asks to speak to the chef. And the chef admits there are truffle-related items coming to the menu that winter.
We are planning a few truffle dishes for the winter menu.
Amir wants Robin to tell the chef who he is, but all it takes is Robin staring the chef dead in the eyes until the chef realizes who it is. The chef's name is Derek, and apparently he used to work for Robin. He was fired after 2 months because he always overcooked the pasta. Derek's kind of being a pain in the ass because he keeps dodging questions about the pig. Robin decides it's time for a little mental warfare and digs into Chef Derek's backstory.
What was it you always used to talk about opening? Wasn't it a pub?
He brings up how Derek's dream was to open a pub, but that's just the start. Robin tears into Chef Derek.
This isn't real. You aren't real. They don't care about you. None of them. You live your life for them, and they don't even see you. You don't even see yourself.
Good God, that was brutal. I guess the mind games worked because Chef Derek finally spills the beans. Pork and beans, if you will. He says the person who has the pig is someone you don't want to make angry. It turns out that someone you don't want to make angry turns out to be Amir's dad, Darius. I'm gonna do my best to cover the backstory of Amir and his dad. Amir and Darius both sell things to various restaurants. Amir doesn't work with his dad's clients because they don't want to, you know, tangle up their businesses, I guess. Earlier at Fenway's, Amir revealed that he doesn't work for his dad because his dad thinks he can make it on his own. But throughout the movie, it's kind of clear that Amir and his dad, as well as his mom, sort of had like troubles with their relationships. Now cutting back to where we left off, Robin is obviously pissed that Amir's dad has his pig, and he ditches Amir because he's like, hey, you probably told him about my pig, you son of a bitch.
Camaro, stop! You psycho!
What's his address?
Listen, man, I will get you a new one. I'll take a hit for the season.
What is it? I don't want to see you again.
After their little fallout, Amir goes to what I can only assume is like a mental facility or clinic or something like that, maybe a hospital, where his mom stayed before she ended her life. I think this might be the moment where I really started to care about Amir's story and like the character in general, because he's very like sadly talking to the room his mom probably stayed in, saying, "Hey, I met the guy that served you that meal that made you the happiest I've ever seen you." And I really did not expect anything to do with Amir, because, you know, I wasn't expecting him to be a big part of the movie. I did not expect that moment to kind of really, like, get to me. So great job to Alex Wolff right there. Now we're back with Robin, and he actually meets up with Darius at his house, and he says he wants his damn pig back.
I'll give you $15,000 to walk away.
No.
20,000.
No.
20 million.
Darius offers him $25,000. He threatens to kill Robin's pig if he continues to fuck with him.
Now I will have $25,000 delivered to that little campground of yours tomorrow. You do anything to fuck with me, I will chop that pig up into bacon.
Robin leaves the house looking defeated, but runs into Amir. It's at this moment where Robin reveals he doesn't need the pig to look for truffles.
I'll need my pig to find truffles.
Then why the fuck did we do all this?
I love her.
He just simply loves that pig a whole bunch. He's not done fighting yet, and he gives Amir a list of things to get. We're now on to chapter 3, a bird, a bottle, and a salted baguette. Amir's first stop is a funeral home kind of place, and he uses Robin's name to get in. It's at this funeral home where we learn that Robin had a wife named Lori who passed away. And now we see what Robin's up to, and I can only assume he's at his old restaurant. The movie doesn't spell it out for you, but I can only assume it's his old place because he talks to a baker named Helen who used to be, I'm assuming, like the head chef at his restaurant. After a few years, she's like, "I'm a baker, man. I'm gonna make this place a bakery since you're out of here." But it's clear he really enjoys what Helen has done with the place and is glad she's still, you know, doing her thing. After gathering all of their supplies, Robin and Amir sneak into his dad's house. They're cooking up something in the kitchen, and when it's all done, Amir goes and tells his dad that dinner's ready. Chef Robin Feld is serving again. Darius is a bit skeptical at first, but after Robin tells him to dig in, he takes a bite, drinks his wine, and at this point I'm like, oh my god, there's no shot in hell that they poisoned this guy. Because he gives a funny reaction after having his first sip of wine. I'm like, no shot they poisoned him. But no, he just starts to cry, and I kind of put the pieces together that, oh, it's the meal that him and his wife loved so much all those years ago. So he goes into his office, and he's crying, you know, he's trying to grab his scotch or whatever. And here's where the most crushing blow of the movie comes in. He says that when the two people delivered the pig, they were a bit rough, and the pig was in rough shape.
We, couldn't, she died.
So it is revealed here that Robin's pig is dead. I said, bullshit, I'm calling bullshit. He's a bad, bad man, and he's lying to you, Robin. But as the movie keeps on winding down, I slowly realize that, oh no, the pig is dead. Like, there's no comeback story, there's no twist. Nope, it's just, sorry, you went through all this work, but hey, yo, your pig's dead. So Amir and Robin head back to a restaurant that was shown earlier on in the movie. Robin says he regrets going out and looking for the pig because if he never went, he could have assumed in his head that maybe the pig was still alive, but Amir quickly is like, I mean, either way, she still wouldn't have been alive anyways. When they finish up at the restaurant, Robin says he's gonna go for a walk. He shakes Amir's hand and he says, "See ya Thursday," and he goes on his way. Amir, on the other hand, sits in his car and reclines his seat with a single tear rolling down his face. Robin is now back at his campground, and he puts in the tape that said "For Robin" once again, and the movie ends with what I can only assume is his deceased wife, Lori, singing a song for him on the tape that he put in his little radio. Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go away, leave you all alone? And he sits on the edge of his bed, and the credits roll, and there you go, that's Pig. And I'm just like, maybe they're gonna hit us with a Marvel post-credit scene where the pig is like, da da da, I'm back. But no, the pig, she's dead. The pig's dead. And, even during the credits, I had subtitles on. It's, you know, there's pig noises in the background, but I don't think that means anything, obviously. That's probably the most bummed out I have been watching a movie, and like I said in the intro, I watched Iron Claw. That's pretty depressing, but at least there was some happy moments sprinkled in, you know, next to all the tragedy happening. This is just brief little, haha, look at this guy and his pig, the first 5 minutes. then oh no, the pig's gone, and it's just, what a gut punch, but it is well made. Not the biggest fan of the movie, glad it has so much love for it. Nicolas Cage, Alex Wolff, they did fantastic. You know, I had this image of Nick Cage kicking ass, fighting for his pig that he loves so much. You know, I was a bit let down, but that does not mean the movie was bad in any sense. Videos come out every Sunday, maybe an extra one sprinkled in like a trailer reaction or a tier list or some other random stuff like that. See you in the next video. Goodbye.